Hey, something new happened. I bought a watch. Woohoo! Now it's a little loose, but it's got these little teeny tiny pins in it, of course, like every other watch, every other metal watch band in the world. And I played with it and played with it. And I'm like, my father does watches. That's one of his hobby things. It's one of the things he does for fun. He puts batteries in watches and sells them and all this kind of cool stuff. And so it's an excuse to get my parents get a lunch with my parents and go out and hang out with them because hopefully it'll take him a minute because he's got all the little punch tools. I turned the house upside down looking for a needle and didn't find one, so I don't dare go in the wife's sewing room. I know they're in there, but I don't dare go in that room. It's off limits to moi. And we're back. Ta-da! There we go. Ta-da! Did an awesome job. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, it looks gorgeous, man. I wear it loose because my hands and wrists swell when I walk back and forth to work, so I like it loose. And don't worry about those stray hairs on my wrist; they'll get yanked out in no time flat. Always happens when you get a metal watch band. All right, so there's a better look at it. I'm trying to turn the light on. That face has an interesting little sort of concentric circle cut to it, so it gets these weird light. And sometimes when I read it, I've noticed, don't look at the house; it's a mess. And you see how the lights reflect off of it funny. It kind of makes it hard to read occasionally when you're in a place where there's a lot of light. For a legally blind person, but I don't think it would affect anybody who had decent vision. But anyway, all fixed. I meant to film my dad actually doing it. Oh, crap. Hang on. So I meant to film my dad actually fixing it, actually doing it. But so we pull into IHOP. And he's like, let's do it on the bumper. Let's do it on the tailgate. I'm like, do it on the tailgate? Why the hell? Yeah, well, okay, so get out and we do it on the tailgate. But the wind hit me and my contacts just went nuts. So while he was pulling the pins and doing all the stuff, fixing the watch band, I went into the cab of the truck and had to mess with my contacts to get him straightened up in my head. And by the time I came back, he was already done. It's like, well, it took him 2 minutes. It didn't take him 2 minutes to have the watch apart and fixed. And he uses a hammer and a little punch and the whole bit. He had it all on the tailgate of the truck. Got honked at by somebody. I don't know what that was all about. But anyway, it's all fixed, man. Brand new watch. Woo! I always preferred the just plain Jane look. I got a Seiko my dad gave me. Let me show you this. Now this Seiko is also solar. It charges off of the light. But if you look closely, it has extra dials. Now this one on the left-hand side is the actual seconds. This one down here is a whole nother watch. It basically has the time. You can adjust it somehow, and I figured out how to do it once. I have no idea how to do it off the top of my head. Now, this top one is for the stopwatch, and this top button is for the stopwatch, and the real second hand, the full-size second hand, is for the stopwatch. So you hit that. Is it showing up on camera? Yeah, there it goes. Now, if I let this go for a full minute, it'll go all the way around. You'll see that one pop over one notch. It'll go out to a whole hour of the stopwatch, so you can stop it and actually add up your time, or boop, you can make it go back. And I've always thought that was really cool, but the thing is, I can't read the date I'm legally blind. I can't read the date or any of these dials without a magnifying glass. So that is why I don't really wear this watch. Plus, it's a white face with gold hands, and they reflect really well. So I can put this on my wrist and I can kind of tell what time it is, but I have to sort of focus on it for a second. And at night it's great because it's got the nice glow in the dark tape on it, and the tape on this has lasted well over 10 years. My dad gave this to me a long time ago, and the glow in the dark stuff has lasted this whole time, no problem. This one has all the same tape on it, or I call it tape. It's the glow-in-the-dark stuff. It has all the same glow-in-the-dark stuff on it, so I'm hoping to get a nice long time out of it as well. But this has been a great watch. And then, of course, I got the Casio for when, everything else. And if I go camping or whatever, I wear the Casio. These are nice watches. I think these are both stainless steel models. I'll have to look at the back of this one and see what it says. But they say they have Japanese movement. So, that's a lifetime movement right there. You shouldn't need anything other than that. So here's the Casio, which is really cool. It's actually lighter than these watches. So this has been a great watch. It's got the little digital display down here. Now the thing is, when you change the time, you change it on digital display, and then the hands catch up. It's really cool. I've put up videos before of me changing it from daylight savings time to not daylight savings time, and you go in and change it on the digital, and as soon as you turn off the setting deal, as soon as you get out of that menu, the hands just and go to the new time. It's really awesome. It's cool to watch. But the only downside, the only downside I have to this watch, I mean, it's been a great watch except for one thing. The glow in the dark is the 9, the 3, the 12, and that little tip above the where the 6 would be, that little tip right there. That's the only part that glows in the dark. So like the 10 and 11 don't glow, and all the ones in between. So when I look at this thing in the dark and it's glowing, I have to kind of guess where the hands are, because you get two hands just kind of, out in the middle of nowhere. You have to guess. I really wish they'd put just a little micro dot, just like they do with the Seikos. You see those little dots on the outside, the little bitty ones, little bitty guys. I can't point because my hands are all full. Those glow in the dark, but they're enough. That's all it would have taken on here to solve that problem. And then I've got another watch. Like I said, I'm legally blind, so I got a watch with nice huge letters on it so I could read this in a, if I'm in a meeting or something, I can just kind of look down and see and read this without too much trouble. But I wore this for a little while, and I banged it into a door by accident. And the thing is, I've banged every watch I've ever owned into a door or a table or something like that, and it reset the damn watch. And it happened 2 or 3 times, so the battery in this thing is not sitting down properly. And it was like $14, so I don't care. I've left it sitting on my dresser top for years, and the battery's lasted that long, so it's not a dead battery or anything. But that's it. That's all my watches. There just ain't no more to it. I'm not a watch guy, but I got used to wearing a watch. A friend of mine, we just went through time change not too long ago for the daylight savings time, and he's like, he hates time change because he has to change the time on 30 watches, 30 of them. I don't bother changing it on this one because I never wear it anymore. This one's actually kind of fun. The Casio is kind of fun to change because you get to watch the arms go around. I now have 3 watches that I'm going to change the time on every time, and it's like, that's almost too much for me. I can't imagine having to go through 30 watches. I used to clean houses for a living, and this guy had a shelf full of watches. He must have had 90 watches on that shelf, and they were all set to the right time. I looked. I was like looking for one that wasn't set to the right time. All of them are set to the right time. He had old watches, he had new watches, he had fancy watches, he had plain watches. He was just a watch collector, and he had 90, and I'm sitting there thinking, that guy has to sit there and it must take that guy an afternoon to reset all his watches every time a time changes, because I'll bet he changes every damn one of them. That was decades ago. But anyway, that's enough for this video. Hope you enjoyed it.